Well, good morning and happy Pioneers Day, everybody. Happy Pioneers Day holiday because it's the 25th and the holiday is actually the 24th. But happy holiday anyway. Today, everyone's got the day off, right? Everyone's sleeping in. But here we're doing a podcast, 9 a.m. live. My hair looks ridiculous. There we go. It's a little better. Welcome to Book Club, where I read books. I read a book every week, a different nonfiction book to help improve my health, my wealth, my wisdom, and my peace. And then I share the book on a podcast to keep myself accountable and then to help you feel better or improve your life in all of those areas as well. I do this live on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook under Caden's Podcast or Book Club with Caden's Podcast. And then it's posted, you'll probably listen to it posted on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. So if you want to join me live, you can join me Monday mornings. We do it early. We do it Monday morning because we get the week started right. And that's how we do it. So you can find links and access to all of my shit on cadenkellysblog.wordpress.com. I write once a week. I used to do, I've been experimenting with the TikToks and the Instagram videos and those shorts. But my shtick right now is this podcast. I have a second podcast where I do the same thing, except I do it in 15 minutes. And that's posted on all the podcast places, plus Instagram. And all of that's available on the blog, cadenkellysblog.wordpress.com. Yeah. So, what did we do last week? I got a concert T-shirt because I went and saw the Lumineers at Maverick Center. I saw Dominic something. So forgot his name. The band. He was I never heard of him before. I think it was Dominic something. And then Gregory Alan Isakov played. And he's an all-time great. And then the Lumineers came out. They were awesome. And we snuck it to a box seat. My buddy snuck us into a box seat. And so we got best seats in the house. It was awesome. And they put on an excellent show. Their stage design and layout was wicked awesome. They had one of those, they had the stage, but then they had one of those, the big wrap around, so they were running around, Then they had confetti and a disco ball, and they sounded really, really good live. It was an awesome show. They were awesome. So we did that and worked over the weekend. Went to Park City. Went to a rodeo for the holiday. My grandpa D was nominated Cowboy of Davis County, so he was awarded that honor at the rodeo in Ogden on Saturday. And we love him for it. What else? I think that was it. Just work, living life to the fullest. Trying to do what we got to do to take care of business. So last week I shared that, or maybe I didn't share it. Oh yeah, I fucked up. Oh, let me tell you what happened. I think I shared a book that I was going to read last week, and then I read a different book on accident, or I can't really remember how it went, but I ordered a book, something like The Path to Freedom, about financial freedom, and then I ended up reading Set for Life by Scott Trench. So I don't know if this is the one I shared. I don't think so. I think I shared a different book that I was going to read, and I ended up reading this one. And I'm not mad about it. I don't know where this one came from, but I loved this one. This was an awesome, awesome book. And I don't know if it's because all of the other financial books, I don't know if I loved this one so much because I've been primed by all the other money books that I've been reading, or if this one was just, better than all of them. But he Scott Trench, he shares lots of the same principles from all of the other money books, and so it was all really familiar, but it just like was hitting harder than normal. I really enjoyed it. I took a lot of notes. So let's talk about Scott Trench really fast. I'm going to pull up my notes. All right. Set for life, dominate life, money, and the American dream. Scott Trench is a handsome fella. Can't see him because it's blurry, but that's okay. Scott Trench is the former VP and current CEO of BiggerPockets.com, a real estate investor and a perpetual student of personal finance and business. He hopes to share his acquired knowledge so that others will have the tools they need to go anywhere they want in the world, work any job, start any business, or finish out the journey to financial independence and retire young. He lives in Denver, Colorado, enjoys skiing, rugby, craft beers, and terrible punny jokes. All right. Let's talk about money. Over 17,000 hard copies sold. I feel like most of the big top sellers are selling 1 million copies, right? But he's flexing with 17,000. I'm not mad about it, though. The book was written, I don't even know how old it is. Let's see when it was written. 2017. And this book was, what's that math? The book was $20, so that's $34,000 at least. Maybe the hard copies are probably more, so probably like 40 grand. That's not bad. 40 grand in 5 years for books, for doing nothing. Well, for writing a book and then doing nothing. So anyway, let's talk about it. Get some coffee. Good morning. I've been starting it a little later to get my team going, but the holidays today, I think everyone's taking a late start. I haven't heard from anybody, so I'm doing the pod. I'm getting this out of the way, and then I'm going to get to work. We don't take holidays. Can't take holidays with White Glove, so whatever. Rather, I don't want to take holidays. All right. So this book, just like every other fucking book that we read, is broken into 3 parts. The first part is the first $25,000 is the hardest. Part 2 is from $25,000 to $100,000 through housing and income generation. And part 3 is moving from $100,000 to financial freedom. So you go from 0 to 25,000, 25,000 to 100,000, and then 100,000 to financial freedom. Hey, B Moon in the chat. No holiday for me today either. Yeah, dude. Well, that means we're just making bread, baby. That's all we do is we make bread out here. Your company's out of California, right? They don't celebrate no Pioneer Day out of California. Tell them it's a national holiday. Maybe they'll give it to you. So, so we're gonna someone else, or maybe it's just from a TikTok or something that I remember seeing about how the first $100,000 is the hardest to make. But then once you make, everything after that is way easier. And not because I don't think it's because it's easier to make money after that. I think it's just because you're smarter and have more connections, more ability. When you have money, you have more options. So, anyway. Whoa, I got something in my throat. Oh, that's going to come back to haunt me. In the introduction, this book is designed for the full-time $50,000 employee, $50,000 per year employee who wants to earn early financial freedom. Me. And probably most of everybody that's listening. Hey, B Moon, because you develop habits to get to 100,000, makes it easier once you know how. There you go. Bada bing, bada boom. And he talks about the steps all the way to there too. So, for all of you listening who work you work your day job and you love it and you don't care to change anything and you don't care to achieve quote unquote financial freedom and you're happy clocking in Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and you get your benefits and you get your bonuses and you get promotions and you like your environment. Like if you're happy, this book and this message isn't really for you. This book is for someone who does that and is not happy and wants to have more control of their time. Because if we've learned anything from all of these books, our most valuable resource is time. Because time is all that we have. And once we're out of time, then we're out of everything. And so when we go to work, when we show up to work, we're trading our time for dollars. I think I got it. When we show up to work, we trade our time for dollars. And are the dollars enough? Are those dollars worth your time? If you only have 80 years to live, and that's being optimistic, let's say you have 60 years to live. That means I'm one third of the way. I'm more than 1/3 of the way through my life. If I was lived to 80, that's one quarter. We're still fucking young, but actually I'm closer to halfway. If I live to 60, I'm closer to halfway than I am to 1/3. I'm almost 30, 26, but almost 30. Baby Moon's pretty much like 60 already. So I like these books because what I want out of my life is more control of my time, to say no to work for my own sake. And I was explaining this to my girlfriend yesterday. Financial freedom doesn't mean just to not to show up to work because you're a dick, or because you're lazy, or because you want to just be sedentary. The point of financial freedom is to reclaim your time, reclaim your energy, and to put your energy and your focus into things that bring more value to your life. So, for example, something that's so important to me. Everyone asks me when are me and my girlfriend going to get married and have kids, and my answer, no one ever likes my answer, because my answer is after I have once I'm financially stable and free. And they say, oh well that'll never happen. Motherfuckers you have to work to pay the bills, and that's just and you'll also never be ready to have kids. And I get that you'll whatever, you don't know what comes with kids until you start having kids. But the point is, I want motherfuckers that I'm talking to aren't in that position. They're not financially free. They go to their day job and they find babysitters, or they have stay-at-home spouses, and they pay their bills, and they have to show up to work. And if they don't show up to work, they can't pay their bills and they can't put food on the table. So what's so important to me is to have my finances squared away so that when I have kids, I don't have to show up to work. I still will work because there's so much value in hard work and earning and refining a skill and helping people. And that's what I want to do, all those things. But when my kid is sick, or my spouse is sick or needs my help, or my parents get sick, or if I get injured and I can't work, if I get sick and I can't work, I want all of that to be squared away already. So that I can, if I get injured and I can't clean carpets for 6 months, or if I get my arm chopped off and I can't clean carpets ever again, I don't want to have to worry about finding another job to pay my bills. I want that to be done. That has to be done. So, and it's possible, and that's what all of these finance books are about. It's how to do that. It's how to build a business and build a reputation and buy income generating assets. That's what all this book is all about. There's ways to earn money in your sleep without having to show up to work. That's what I need, especially when I want to have a family. I want to be able to I want to work and instill. It's so important to instill a hard work ethic into my kids. But when my kid is sick, or if my kid has a fucking football game, or a piano recital, I want to be able to go there and not have to go to a meeting or be late or whatever, be out of town because of whatever. I just want to be present all the time. I want to be available all the time without having to sacrifice my income or my lifestyle or the well-being for my family. So that's what the root of all this money is. Are you just gonna stand there and watch? What are you gonna do? Huh? You just gonna stand there and watch? Well, I told you that's what I was telling you yesterday. I'll come up after this. Okay. Good morning. It is 9:30, but good morning. Are you going to the gym? All right. Well, if you're not here, I'll call you. All right. All right. That's enough of that. So let's talk about the book then. Let's talk about how to get there. And then I need to reread all the other books that I read because they all have good info. Say you love her right now. I love you. Yeah, I got it back. Thanks, Brax. That's from Braxton. She says she loves you too, Brax. Can't wait to swim later today. If you know, you know. Sidebar swimming today at 3. #yes. Okay, part 1. The first $25,000 is the hardest. Chapter 1. Building the first $25,000 through frugality. It's a concept that's so hard for me because it's not the concept is hard, but the application is hard because it's not how I've lived. I'm frugal in a lot of ways, but in a lot of other ways, my non-frugality ways destroy my frugal ways. So I like name brand shit and expensive shit, and I compulsively buy things. So let's talk about frugality. The harsh first step to avoiding the rat race, and I wonder if there's an actual definition because multiple people use the phrase rat race, and it's never, I don't know if I've ever seen a clear definition for it, but I know what it is. I want to see what okay. A way of life in which people are caught up in a fiercely competitive struggle for wealth or power. The rat race. Fierce competitive struggle for wealth. So the harsh first step to avoiding the rat race is always and always has been to start preserving capital. Start saving money. Three steps. I put 3 bullet points. Accumulate real assets, constantly invest capital efficiently, and design a lifestyle that is practical. Rich Dad Poor Dad talks in more depth about assets and liabilities, and I think we get into more of the assets and liability conversation. But like the whole point, the very core of financial freedom: buy assets and get rid of liabilities. Buy things that put money into your pocket and get rid of things that take money out of your pocket. That's the whole core. That's financial freedom in a nutshell. Frugality enables you to seek opportunity. You don't get rich working for someone else. You can't earn less than you do because you can't earn less than you do because you aren't frugal, because you don't save money. You don't have near enough time to build a business working a 9-to-5 job. So frugality enables you to seek opportunity. Yeah, frugality to me, I'll just say too, frugality to me is tough because of a lot of things. It's, I was raised, my parents had money, and we were kind of spoiled as kids growing up, and I just acquired a taste for luxury items. I bought Wave Runners a couple years ago, for Christ's sake. I don't need Wave Runners. I don't even like wave running. I bought it because I started making grown-up money, and I wanted to impress myself and hang out with my friends. But it was a fucking stupid. I think I took him out maybe like a dozen times total. And I buy expensive furniture for my house. I buy, I just buy like when he talks about frugality, you can't earn less than I can't like, because of my quote unquote expensive taste, I have to earn more money because I spend so much money. But the first principle is just acquire a lower taste. I guess it's kind of like being a cheapskate in some ways where, you penny pinch and I always think that the characteristic is kind of obnoxious to be a cheapskate, especially when you start making enough money to, but the point is, if you want to get ahead, if you want to get out of the rat race, you can't have expensive taste early on. Expensive taste early on sets you back. Frugality is what's important. Frugality is what gets you ahead. Frugality opens up opportunities, and our tax system favors the saver, not the earner. A penny saved is better than a penny earned. Because the saved money in a bank account accrues interest, although very small, but earned income at a job is taxed. So you make $100, you're still taxed 10%. You only come home with $90. But money saved is always will be more valuable than money earned. In sum, the preservation of capital should be the primary focus at this stage. If you are content without financial freedom, no need to apply these lessons. This is what I said at the beginning. If you want financial freedom, do not let your short-term emotions sabotage you, like buying all your cravings, compulsive spending, panicking financially, etc. Do not let short-term emotions sabotage you. When I go out to eat, I kind of spoil myself, and sometimes I'll spoil the people I'm with, or but it's a special occasion, picking up the tab. I believe in the altruism and the generosity that comes with spending money for other people, but the core principle here. He talks about charities at some point. He says, if you donate to charity, don't stop, because it brings you peace in your life. And he talks not a lot about it, but he mentions a lot of how the whole point is to make you a better person. The whole point of all of this. And like he just says, if you're content with your life, and like I'm trying to illustrate, if you're content with your routine and your system, there's you don't need to do you don't need to do anything. You just if you're happy the way that your life is, and showing up to work and living that way and earning promotions and your environment, if you don't want to get rid of it, then don't get rid of it. But anyway, I guess we'll probably get to it here in a second. So I'm getting ahead of myself, and I should have looked through my notes. I should get in the habit of looking through all of my notes before I start the podcast, because I always get ahead of myself. Part of becoming wealthy includes being responsible for your life and for your finances. There's the R word again. Responsibility goes hand in hand with accountability and awareness. So much of just focus. Oh, we got a new follower. I can't see what the name is, though. It's so fucking small. Thank you. Thanks for the new follow. I don't know I can't see your name, but thank you. So much of finding peace and finding success and finding purpose is being aware of your feelings, your situation, your decision making, your thought process. So, and we're adding wealth to that list. Part of earning wealth is awareness of your cravings and your spending. Don't choose the best when very excellent is acceptable. This isn't about being cheap. It's about trying to earn early financial freedom. Don't spend $120 on a shirt from Lululemon when a $30 shirt from Target, works just fine. That's me. So I like to go buy the Lululemons. I'm the Lululemon seeker of the world. it's part of it is ego. It's the status, and people recognize the brand, and it's just it's not it's it's not smart financially unless you have just cash up your butthole to blow. Then it doesn't make any sense to spend $120 when your weekly check is $500, or $1,000. So that's chapter 1. Be frugal. The Lulu pants are nice though, says Hey Baby Moon. Everything from Lulu's nice. Their ABC pants are my favorite. I use them for work nowadays. I actually wear, but you know what the alternative for me is? I bought Bird Dogs. I bought 2 pair of Bird Dog pants a few years ago, and like 8 Bird Dog shorts, and that's the only shorts and pants that I wear now, for the last couple years. And that way, I am pretty frugal because I invested in some nice shorts and pants, and they don't break, and they're kind of Lulu quality, and they're stylish. I think they're fucking fit, So, but yeah, Lulu. I mean, that's just the name of the game. The first step is to be frugal. The first step to financial freedom is to be frugal. Chapter 2: How to live an efficient lifestyle. It's so robotic, It's so forfeit your expensive tastes and your cravings for luxuries, and now we're gonna efficient. We're gonna make your lifestyle efficient. I don't know how to say that the other way. According to data, Americans aren't overspending on luxuries and entertainment. They're overspending on their mortgage/rent and loans. Yeah, here's an interesting twist to what he's proposing. Financial freedom comes first by living frugally. But he says where most people go broke, or where most people get set back financially, is with their home. How much they spend on rent or their mortgage, and or just loans in general, credit card debt, and your car payment. Financing a car or financing fucking Wave Runners when you're 24. That's where people go broke. That's where people really get set behind. So, kind of echoing what I said about if you donate to charities, don't stop that. That if it brings you if it brings you peace, it makes you a better person, keep doing it. Just like he says here. Here we go. Variable expenses like your daily coffee or your beer budget are not the real problem. It's your fixed expenses, like mortgage and loans. Eradicating the small expenses will only make you miserable. If you go to Dutch Bros every day, it's $250 a day, and then what's that quick math? $250 for 30 days is like $45 a month for coffee, $45 a month, and then like Netflix is $15 a month. I actually did all of my expenses for myself. Let me see if I can find some of those monthly expenses. Yeah, and it's crazy. My big money expenses, my most expensive expenses, are my house and my business loan and my payroll. Oh, Canon, the missionaries calling me. Missionaries could call every fucking, they could call on P-days now. They don't have to just write emails only. I'm actually going to take this for a second. We'll do this on the pod. Let's see. Hello? Yo, I'm doing my podcast. What's up, Elder? Say what's up to everybody. What up? Yeah, I'll call you back after. Are you just doing P-Day till 6? Okay, I'll call you after. Or if you're busy, don't worry about it. You look sharp as hell, my man. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Still letting it drape though. You got to start spiking it. Nah, you know how short Dad's hair is. He just goes like this. I'll call you after. All right, see you. Love you. Oh, sweetheart. Okay. Wow. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to call him. It's fun to talk to him once a week. Just get to hear his stories. It kind of makes the emailing obsolete because I would share stories through email and send pictures, and we were all encouraging him to do that. But he calls mom and dad and grandma and grandpa and me and the other brothers and sometimes the aunts and uncles and his friends. He's just calling people all day, and then he's like, now I got to write an email and say everything that I just said a dozen times in an email. But he's on week 2 in the field, so he's killing it. But yeah, man, my TV subscriptions, my entertainment subscriptions, including how much I spend on books. Like I say, I buy the audiobook and the physical copy, and my book budget every month is $150. And that doesn't even come close to what I spend on my mortgage and my business loan and payroll and business expenses. So anyway, like insurance is $700 a year. So it's $6 or $7 a month, or $4 or $5 a month. What's that math? $40. Whoa, hold on. Let me figure out that math. Yeah, it's like 66. Let's just do it. I'll just do it. I have no pride. $57 a month for my home insurance. Anyway, Ziggy Joe, welcome. I love your own email. I love that you use your own emotes. Okay, so that's the point of chapter 2. Is your most expensive expenses are your fixed expenses, like your mortgage or your rent or your car loan or your credit card debt. And that's even on the bottom of the scale because some people don't have any credit card debt. But anyway, so here's what he says out of chapter 2. So yeah, we spend too much on our fixed expenses. Save money to maximize, as he says. Oh yeah. Remember how every time I feel like I come up with something original, like I'm here to improve my health, wealth, wisdom, and peace. Motherfuckers doing the same thing. Save money to maximize your happiness, health, and wealth. I'm just behind on everybody. Everyone else has already figured out all of the mantras. They're already writing books about it. So I'm not original. None of my content is original. I'm just regurgitating what people have already figured out. I feel like I'm coming up with it because I think of the thing and then I read it in a book later on. So it's fun to think that I'm on the right track, but I'm not original. Okay, so here's ways that you can save. Rent. Find roommates. Live outside the city. Don't spend, find the sweet spot of, not out in the middle of nowhere where you have to drive 2 hours to work and then you're guzzling gas and losing money that way, but also not so close to the city where rent is always the most expensive. Your commute. Minimize or eliminate your commute entirely. Find a car with smart gas mileage. No need to have a fancy truck. I have a truck. I bought a truck when I came home from my mission, a little Tacoma. I love the truck so much. And for the last couple of years, I've wanted to upgrade it, but I have zero reason to. And my Tacoma already doesn't get great gas mileage. I should downgrade my Tacoma and get a fucking Prius or a Tesla. I don't know. I know the Teslas are kind of the top of the line thing, but I'd drive a Prius and pay $0 in gas. Here's just ways to save, because frugality is the first step to financial freedom. Save on your food. Have delicious meals ready on hand. Forego all truly unhealthy fast food, because we're trying to maximize our health and wealth and our happiness, like he says. That's not original anymore. So forego all truly unhealthy fast food. Enjoy eating out with friends and family. Never go out because there's nothing prepared at home. Be prepared. Again, this is awareness. This is about being intentional with your spending. Be prepared. Plan your food. Plan your budget. And it just, you got to go shopping. You spend $150 on groceries, but that'll last you the whole week. And $150 through 7 days is, $20 a day. And 20 divided by 3 meals, $7 a meal. Instead of spending $15 or $20 a meal going out, spending $60 a day going out. Be prepared with healthy snacks. You could save on personal insurance and pensions. You could save on your health care. Save on entertainment. Dump cable TV. No one uses cable. Subscribe to just a few subscriptions. Like I subscribe to Paramount Plus, HBO, and Netflix, and that's it. I think that's it. I used to subscribe to YouTube TV, but then I never used it. That was $70 a month, and I, maybe 4 or 5 months subscribed and never watched it. Except I did watch Wimbledon. So sometimes it's awesome to have, but it's also possible because of how they're all set up to just subscribe. Pay the $60, watch the Wimbledon, and then unsubscribe, and you only pay it once instead of all year long. Or like if you only watch Stranger Things, then subscribe, watch Stranger Things, and then cancel the subscription. I should actually just do that with everything. That's what I did with Hulu. We were watching The Bachelor, I think. Subscribed, watched The Bachelor, unsubscribed. Save on your education. He goes into a little bit about how education is kind of a waste of time these days, and that you can learn. And Elon Musk says the same thing. You can learn anything you want to learn. You can find for free on YouTube. Basically, I find extreme value in having a mentor and learning from a professional and being in the right setting and with the right mentality. But at the end of the day, all of this education that I'm doing from home, and I read my books, and $150 a month on books and I technically could cut that in half. I don't have to buy the physical copy or the audiobook. I could just do one or the other and save half and do $70 a month for books. I do both because I like both, and I want, I guess that is kind of an ego thing, and being not being frugal, just kind of throwing money around, but it is what it is. Don't sacrifice the little things, since they hardly make a difference and can reduce your quality of life. It is the big expenses that matter the most. And the goal here is you want to save 50% of your income. If you could save 50% of your income to get to that $25,000 figure, you're on the right track. And, honestly, the more that you save, the more frugal you are, the quicker you're going to get there. So that's chapter 2. Chapter 3, what to do with your money as you save it. As you're saving it, there's 3 things that you should do right now. Build an emergency fund of $1,000 to $2,000. And I've heard a few times from other people saying, save 3 months of expenses, 3 to 6 months of expenses. So if you lose your job, or if you break your ankle and you can't work, or you get really sick, you have 3 to 6 months of your expenses covered. And it's, you make it, you save it, and you never touch it unless you break your ankle or you get really sick. That's your emergency fund. The second is pay off all bad debt, like credit card debt, with overdrawn fees, and really like get rid of your unnecessary luxuries like fucking wave runners. Build strong credit. And then the third is build up $25,000 of financial runway in cash or cash equivalents. This only works as running capital when you remain living frugally. This money is essential. However, to move on and to begin breaking out of the rat race. So that's part 1. Live frugally, save your money, minimize your fixed expenses like your mortgage and your car, buy a cheaper car, or have no car at all if you can do the train and a bike or whatever. And what else? Yeah, find roommates to live to rent with. Live in your parents' basement. If you want to get ahead, again, my ego and my pride love having a house to call my own. but it's so fucking expensive. It's so expensive, especially the time of the year that with the way the market is. I've put a lot of cash. I've forfeited a lot of cash to buy the house, and now every month I have a expensive mortgage to pay. But the way I justify it is I have a house. I'm building equity, and I have privacy. And me and my girlfriend and I get to live here. We're adults. We're growing up. But not just the mortgage, but I have all of the expenses that come with it, like utilities and internet and water and sewer. It's just, and then repairs and maintenance. It's so expensive. It was expensive to rent. Although we had roommates and we were splitting rent across the way, it was way less expensive that way. Now it's my house and I'm paying the whole mortgage, and the roommates, any roommates are here that are they're chipping in, but still, it's still fucking expensive. So anyway. Yeah. And then as you are living frugally, save your money. Save your money. Build up $25,000 of cash or cash equivalents. I guess technically I'm putting equity into this house is kind of like saving cash equivalents, because if I sold for a profit, I'd get the principal plus, I'd get the principal plus however much the home value increased. I'd pay off the loan, and then I'd be left with whatever I have left, minus closing costs and taxes and all that bullshit. But build up $25,000 is the point. Okay, so now you have $25,000. What do we do next? The goal is to move to $100,000. Turn $25,000 into $100,000. Ziggy Joe, you're basically talking about my situation. Yeah, it's my situation too. Here's what's so fascinating to me, and what he says here is, or somebody talks about, is it's like the way people live is what's normal, and what's normal, especially for how I've been raised and how I've been taught, is it's normal to move out and buy a house, and then you work your job to pay your mortgage, and you do that your whole life. And he says if you want freedom, you have to act out of the ordinary, because the ordinary, like what normal, quote unquote normal is, doesn't give you financial freedom. Being quote unquote normal means moving out, find expensive rent, or you buy a home and have expensive mortgage, and then you work your day job, and you do that 52 weeks of the year. And a phrase that he repeats is, you're working through the best hours of the day, the best days of the week, the best weeks of the month, the best months of the year, through the best years of your life. You're giving up the best time of your life being young and strong and healthy and curious and adventurous. You're giving up that to pay mortgage or rent and work your job 9 to 5. Work 40 to 50 to 60 hours a week to pay your mortgage. So this is the trade-off. You're trading off your time to be normal, or to be quote unquote average, or just like to go with the flow. So yeah, to be frugal. Find ways to. So part 2, where he's going to talk about $25,000 to $100,000 through housing and income generation. He'll talk about how me as a homeowner, I could, instead of paying my $23,000 mortgage every month, $2,300 mortgage. Wow, that would be expensive. $2,300 mortgage, against myself, and find ways to make that my advantage. But it comes with my sacrifice. The obvious solution is move out and rent the house and let the new tenants pay the mortgage. The mortgage is $2,300, and so they pay $23 or whatever the going rate for a single family house is for rent in Layton, Utah. And then where am I going to go? Am I going to go move in with mom and dad in their basement and just take all the cash? Am I going to go find a cheap apartment and just, live well below my means? But this is how you get ahead, right? This is how you get ahead. And we're going to talk about it. Ziggy Joe, should I move out of Sandy and stop spending stupid money on rent? If I remember your situation right, you have like a pro and a con in your situation, because you have the pro is you're in Sandy and you have like no commute. You're really close to your job, so you're saving a ton of time and a ton of money on gas, which is awesome. But the con obviously is stupid money on rent. So your solution is either move out, find cheaper housing with like a good ratio of commute and rent, or just find roommates, bring people in to live in your place with you. That's how I see it. And there's people are smarter than me or more what's the word? Like they could see opportunities better than I can. But those are my two options. I can either just bring in more roommates or move out and let other people move in, or sell the fucking house. I could live in Layton for $500. Yeah, and then so is the $500 in Layton plus a 45-minute drive or a 40-minute drive to work every day. So 80 minutes back and forth. Let's say an hour and a half back and forth. But save $1,700 a month in rent. Well, the if you want to get ahead financially, yeah, you'd want to take because even if, I don't know what the math is with your truck, but if you drive was probably like 30 or 40 miles to work every day, back and forth, that's probably, you probably get like 3 days on a tank. So, and to fill up your truck is probably like $100, $120. So what's that math? Let's see if I can do that math real fast. 120. Let's say you fill up twice a week. Twice a week is 240, and there's so 960. You'd spend, let's say you spend 900. That would probably be like $900 in gas. So you're still saving $800 on rent. 175 to fill up. Ooh, geez. Okay. So if it's 175 and you do that twice a week, and there's 4 weeks in a month, you're still saving $300. That math comes to $1,400 a month in gas. And yeah, so you're saving $300 a month, but now you're driving. You're just losing time in your commute. So I think the smarter option is to find some strangers to live in your house with you. You get to keep the house for $2,200 or $2,300 a month. But you split that 4 ways, and now you're only paying $575 a month, and you have no commute, and you are not paying that money in gas. That's the best case scenario. But then you got to live with strangers. See the compromise? There's compromise in all your decisions. It's really comfortable to live in a house by yourself. It's really comfortable for me and my girlfriend to live here. But our compromise is we're paying so much money to live here, to have the comfort. So do you want to just, are you happy with paying a bunch of money to be in your situation? Are you happy with your situation, paying a bunch of money to be comfortable? Or would you rather be a little uncomfortable now to get way ahead so that you have opportunity to be financially independent in the future? This is the conflict. That's the conflict. Move to Sugar House for $1,500 a month. Yeah, Hey Moon, do you have a 1-bedroom? Is that a 1-bedroom apartment in Sugar House right now for $1,500? I'm curious. All right. I'm not even talking about the book. We're just doing math on a calculator. Let's get back into the book. Okay, part 2, from $25,000 to $100,000 through housing and income generation. Chapter 4, turning your latest expense into an income generating asset. Hey Moon, essentially, it's a studio with a divided bedroom. Yeah, that's even smaller than a 1-bedroom, man. That's crazy. That's so crazy. It's the downtown vibes, man. You could probably find a studio in Layton, Utah for $1,000, but I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying it's crazy that you get 300 square feet for $1,500 a month. It's wild. That's freaking wild. Oh, Jesus. This is delicious. LOL, I have to work. Catch the rest later. Love you, Zach. Go sell some cars. Go sell some cars and make that rent less burdensome for yourself. Oh, my mouth is so dry. Okay. Turning your latest expense into an income-generating asset. Chapter 4. 600 square feet. That's better than 300 or 400. Yeah, whatever I said. 600 square feet. Okay, buying a home is a poor financial decision at this point, early, with the $25,000 saved. Consider house hacking or buying a duplex/quadplex. May even be better to rent than to buy in the short to medium term. Your cash today is more valuable than buried in equity. That's all my notes for chapter 4. Especially, yeah, okay, so I'll just move on. Chapter 5, the financial impact of housing decisions. Here's what I was going to say. Buying a luxury residence as your first home too early will impact every other financial area of your life. Buying luxury, like, buying that dream house, your first house is your dream house, paying $3,000 in your mortgage plus all of your HOA, your expenses, your utilities, all of that. Stupid, especially even if it's stupid if you're single, have a ton of extra land and property that you can't utilize. And it's even dumber if you have a family, because either your spouse isn't working and taking care of the family, or she is working and you have to pay for daycare. But that's how you either you work a ton to make the money to pay the dream rent, the dream mortgage, or you don't get it at all. So again, if you're content with that, just working all day, every day to pay your mortgage, and then that's it, then all right, turn the podcast off then. But if you want freedom from that and you want to live in the luxury house without having to go to work, and you can enjoy the land and the property and the family, then don't buy it yet. A reasonable primary residence still slows you down financially, but doesn't cripple like a luxury residence. Easily having cash left over after paying your mortgage is ideal. This is about where I'm at in my situation. I don't have a ton of cash left over. I barely have any cash left over after I pay all of my expenses, my house expense, and I have my business expenses, my business loan, but he doesn't really address a person that's just working a 9-to-5 job. They don't have business expenses. Their biggest expense is their home. I'm in a kind of a unique situation that way, where I have the home expense plus the business expenses. So the good news for me, and why I'm optimistic, and why I read these books and still continue down the path I'm on, is because he talks about later in this book is the opportunity for growth in your field. So I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm still getting ahead of myself. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to go back to my notes. Okay, so yeah, reasonable primary residence slows you down but doesn't cripple like a luxury. The best case scenario is buying a home that's affordable and gives you options to make money after you leave, like renting, or buying a duplex and living in one of the units, or a quadplex, or an apartment building where you can generate a ton of cash as you live, basically live for free. And if you can minimize your most expensive expense, minimize or erase, you're still saving a bunch of cash. Don't cripple yourself from the beginning. Turn your first home into an income-generating asset to be ahead financially of your peers. Chapter 6, how to make more money. He says a lot of people jump to this chapter because obviously everyone wants to make money, more money. But if you skip the part 1 of the book, then making more money is not going to do anything for you. Because if you don't know how to live frugally and save your money, then making more money just adds more problems. Because you make more money, you spend more money. If you don't know how to make more money and continue to save it, you can't get ahead. So If you learn how to live, and I'm learning this, if you learn how to live frugally, and you learn how to save, and you learn how to, minimize your fixed expenses like rent and your mortgage, then earning more money is the next step, and it's very important. The point of this chapter and the whole book is to acquire income-generating assets and earn early financial freedom. Earning more money is about keeping more money, not spending it, so it can be invested properly to create income-generating assets, not to buy trinkets and toys. By the way, who says trinkets? I think that came out of my vernacular, and I don't know who says trinkets anymore. Knickknacks, yeah, a small ornament or item of jewelry. This is not 1955. Find opportunities that have lots of room for raises and promotions. It's about the long haul, not a quick buck. And I think I used the word promotion, and then I'm saying that now, and it feels wrong because I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me get through the chapter, and he'll say it for me. Just like your mortgage and loans are the most influential in your budget than your daily coffee, your work and commute hours have the biggest impact on your time than entertainment or leisure. Quote, creativity is slowly suffocating at a salaried job. Yes, this is how he says it, and he says it way better than I could have. Your creativity is slowly suffocating at a salaried job. Yes. So just like your mortgage and your car payment are your biggest expenses, they're the most influential in your budget. Your job, the opportunities that come with your job and your commute, how much time you spend in the car plus money spent in the car equal your most influential moneymaker. So the point here is he kind of says to get out of the corporate world if you want to get ahead. But people are afraid. I just want to be concise because it's this is why what I'm saying about me being in my own business. The opportunity for growth for me is nearly exponential. Every day that I'm working on my business, I can imagine a ton of different ways to grow and to improve and to make more money. And the point isn't to make money to have and spend. It's to make more money to have and invest to make more money, right? So I think of a bunch of ways to grow my carpet cleaning business. And a selfish Caden, a younger Caden, it's still me in a lot of ways, gets excited about winning a big job, getting the money from the big job, and then having this money to spend on whatever I want. But a wiser Caden is learning to go get bigger jobs, to sell more, to be more innovative, to win bigger bids, get big paychecks, and then to use that money to continue to grow my business. So here's the point. That's what a wiser Caden would do to get ahead financially. So here's the point for you who work at the corporate world or work a 9 to 5 or whatever. Your opportunities for growth are minimal. Your growth scale comes in the form of promotions and raises and bonuses. And he explains in much more detail that rate of growth is much, much slower, and it's designed that way. It's much slower than working on your own and taking a little bit extra risk to earn more money now in the short to medium term. And he defines risk. I should have wrote it down because it's kind of brilliant. It's easy to see risk as like the chances of losing money. Like if I go invest in a new startup business, the risk is losing the money that I invested. But he defines it differently. That's how I've always defined it. I think that's how a lot of people define it. But he defines risk as the amount of money you could lose by not investing. It's like the opportunity cost perspective. If I didn't invest my time and energy into this thing, what's the risk what am I losing by not investing in this? What's that risk? So It's a change in mindset, but it's the principle behind making more money. If you're in a job and you're salaried, whatever your salary is or whatever your dollarly per hour wage is, the chances of that growing or scaling is so slow compared to what you could do for yourself in your own business when your own hustle. And like he says about time, we have so much time, and if you have a long ass commute every day, you're giving up a big portion of your day first working, plus you're giving up a ton working, plus your commute, plus the money that goes into it, instead of working on scaling a personal profitable venture. I'm repeating myself a little bit. Braxton, $34 an hour. Wow, it's sexy. $34 an hour. But what if it was $70 an hour? You could make double that. But again, if you're content working your day job and you're not trying to get ahead financially, then taking this advice, it's like I said, you don't need to. This isn't the rule. This is just what I'm trying to do. Find bigger opportunities, quote unquote, riskier opportunities that will give me more cash to invest, to grow my future, to become financially free. But if you're happy, with your lifestyle and working your job, like that, again, there's nothing. What I'm pursuing isn't better than what everyone just lives their own life the way they want to. It takes a lot of, in fact, there's so much different stress that comes with trying to take accountability for a business. And a lot of days I'm pulling my hair out. And then, then I take on the added stress of having employees and trying to train and treat them well and make sure they're doing a good job. And it all comes together, and it's way stressful, but it's necessary for growth. The stress is necessary for growth. You could remain in your position, comfortable, work your job, get paid, pay your rent, and do it all over again. But I want to get paid and pay my bills, and without the work. I get to choose to show up or not. All right, let's keep going. How to sell your time and talents for more income. Develop highly sought after skills like performance-based pay that's scalable. 2, take control of future income. And 3, find synergy between one's work, lifestyle, and investments. If your job and your hobby and your investments are all similar, your opportunity, well, you'll be more savvy in all areas of your life when it comes to your finances. Benefits like healthcare, dental, are nothing in comparison to the opportunity to scale. Pursue opportunity, not stability. Not stability. If you want financial freedom, pursue opportunity, not stability. Read chapter summary, bullet points. All right, let's find chapter 6 really fast. Okay. It's really quite simple. You only have a few choices if you want to increase your income and have no capital with which to invest in income-producing assets. Go out and develop a new skill that's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. Get a job that rewards performance with unlimited upside. Start a business, freelance, or start a side hustle. Then get creative and synergize your income-producing pursuits. I think that's what the bullet points that I was looking for. Very succinct. I need a drink. My mouth is so fucking dry. But I need health insurance, says Hey B Moon. We all need health insurance. I need health insurance. But so yeah, you either continue working at your job and take the benefits from your job, or seek a scalable income that produces more money for you to pay for your health insurance. You can either pay for it yourself with the vast amounts of cash you're making, or continue to let your employee, because basically, I don't know however much you get in deductible for your health insurance per month, but basically that's coming out of your check. Basically, you say you make 34 an hour, but you probably you're definitely worth more than 34 an hour. You're probably worth $100 an hour, but you're losing $66 an hour because of your health insurance. That's how I see it. Your time is so valuable, and the money that you could produce, it'll pay for everything else. That's what he's saying. Benefits are nothing in comparison to the opportunity to scale. Pursue opportunity, not stability. It's a trap. I'm an employer. I know, I see why employers would provide awesome benefits, because if you want to keep good employees, because that's how businesses operate. You need good employees to run the business, so you'll give them a bunch of reasons to stay. But if you want to get out of that and you want to reclaim your time, you have to get out. You have to sacrifice the stability and security that comes with a career or a salaried job. But it doesn't mean you forfeit your health. In fact, a lot of, like when it came down to budget, he says eat good foods, because if the better you eat and the better you feel, the less health issues you'll have, the less money you'll spend on health. In fact, I've heard other people call the doctor visits sick care. Health care is going to the gym and eating well, but sick care is going to the doctor when something's wrong. All right, I'm moving on. Chapter 7, scaling a scalable career. I'm an hour into this. I've got one more part after this. I told you I had a ton of notes. It is what it is. Hey, Moon. But my heart. I know, you could pay for your heart with cash out of your pocket. And it would be expensive, but that's the point. You need the help. You can either that's what I'm saying. But if you're comfortable with someone else paying for your health insurance, then I'm not telling you not to. I'm just trying to convince you of how I see it. I'm trying to persuade you, influence your decision making. You can make more money working for yourself through some of those examples that he shared from the book, and then use that money to pay for your heart, to pay for your faulty heart. Or you work your job and Part 3, moving from $100,000 to financial freedom. Chapter 8, an exploration of financial freedom. And I love this because we talk about financial freedom. This is what I want. I want financial freedom. But what is it? Income comes and goes. Wealth can last forever and usually uses itself to accumulate more wealth. Wealth it can extend through generations. He defines financial freedom as this: a state of which one has enough income from return on assets that they no longer need wage-paying work to permanently sustain their lifestyle. It's exactly what I'm talking about. When one has enough income from return on assets that they no longer need wage-paying work to permanently sustain their lifestyle. They no longer need the wage-paying work. They no longer need to show up to their job to pay for their life, to pay their bills, to cover their health insurance, to cover for their heart because they have a bad heart. They have enough assets to cover all expenses and luxuries, their lifestyle permanently. That's like, I'm talking about myself. I bought this house and I could move out and rent it out and cash a small, the rent would pay the mortgage, and then I'd maybe get a small sliver of cash afterwards. But if I bought 10 houses identical to this one and I did the same thing and I had 10 30-year loans, 30-year mortgages, then after 30 years, when I'm 56, I'll have 10 houses completely paid off, and all of that rent would go into my pocket. So if I rented 10 properties for $2,000 each, and all the mortgages, all the loans, the mortgages are paid, That's 20 grand a month for doing nil, for doing nada. I don't have to show up to my day job to pay my bills anymore. I can wake up and shit and sleep in bed all day, lay in bed all day, and get 20 grand a month because of the investment in the asset. And a smart person wouldn't, or an ambitious person is pursuing more assets. They get 20 properties, they get 50 properties, or they invest in small businesses, they invest in stocks, and that's what this part is all about. When you live frugally and save your money and you minimize your fixed expenses, you save $100,000 in cash. What do you do with this money? Where do you start investing it? That's what this is all about. Because what you buy with that cash in your pocket is what allows for financial freedom, something to permanently sustain your lifestyle. This is what gets me excited. Focus on being cash flow positive. Spend your money on income generating assets. He lists here what are not assets. All right, let's see if I can find that. Chapter 8. I remember this. Okay. Who are the financially free? Yeah, be cash flow positive. Wrapping up. What do you want to do? Yeah. Well, okay. Well, here's a little example of what financial freedom brings. It makes me excited. It makes me so excited. Which level do you want to be at? How much freedom do you want in your day? Would you like to be able to do the following? Choose exactly where you live, what you eat, and how you transport yourself. Choose what job to work, not on the basis of salary, but based on the work itself. Choose whether to work at all or to work on a schedule that better fits your moods. Build your own business one day. Be able to tell others to buzz off when they want you to wake up at a certain time, wear certain clothing, or perform uncomfortable or boring work. If so, if you answered yes to any of those questions, or if you know what you'd want to do, if so, then you need to figure out a plan to get there. This part of the book provides that plan. All right. So I got to find that list. Short list. Okay, yeah, assets. Real assets for those interested in satisfying the financial independence equation include things like rental properties, stocks, bonds, publicly traded securities, income-generating businesses, and other assets that generate income and are expected to maintain or increase their value. Examples of false assets include cars, boats, trucks, SUVs, RVs, or other luxury vehicles. Homes, like my fucking house that I just bought. Your home is not an asset. College or graduate degrees, student loan debt. Retirement accounts. I don't know much about retirement accounts. Computers are not an asset because they depreciate in value over time. They do not increase in value over time. The computer might mine for Bitcoin or something, and the Bitcoin is worth something, but the computer itself is not. Furniture is not an asset. Art and other collectibles are not assets, but art could be an asset if you put them in a museum and you got paid to have your art in a museum, or if you had a museum and people paid you to visit your museum. That's when your art becomes an asset. But even still, the art itself is not an asset. It's the museum. It's the accumulation of the art plus the building and the business that's behind the art. So there's a list of assets and not assets. All right. Homes historically produce wealth slower than other assets. People who claim their home to be excellent assets likely have never invested in anything besides their home. And that reminds me of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, where he said in like the 80s that your home is not an asset, and there was a giant uproar of people calling him crazy, but he explained this exactly the same. Your home, if you buy a home and you live in it, you're paying the mortgage and you're paying the expenses and you're paying for the repairs. All it does is take money out of it builds up equity, but you buy a $300,000 home, you pay interest on the mortgage, and you pay for repairs over time. you're spending more than what you would get back if you sold the home. If you lived there for the entire term and then you sold it at the end of the term, you would have lost money over that time. Yeah, it feels good to get $300,000 back, but that's the theory with the compound of interest and what you spend, even if the home appreciates in value, which is why people think they're always assets. But all it does is take money out of your pocket. And like you said earlier, the cash that you use to spend on a mortgage or on your rent is way more valuable in your pocket than buried in equity, because you could use it to buy other assets, income generating assets. If you don't have enough education regarding investing, the best move is to continue maximizing savings and earnings. I got caught buying stocks, especially when the GameStop and AMC shenanigans were going on. I spent $10,000 on AMC stock because I was just following the trends, and so I have $10,000 in capital buried, and I'm losing money on it right now because we're in a recession, and I'm holding on strong. I'm hodling for Harambe, and we'll see what happens over time. But that's I have no education. I don't know anything about it. And he says later on too that the worst thing that an investor can do early on is invest in single stocks. It comes, it's such a, unless you do it for a living, that's the synergy he's talking about. If your job and your hobby you love to invest, and you love to watch the tickers, and you stare at the screen, and you know when to buy, and you know when to sell, and you know when to do all of that shit, then investing in single stocks is a really good idea. But if you're like me and you spend your time carpet cleaning, and then you're like, I'm going to buy $10,000 of AMC, it's a stupid idea. It's a stupid idea. That $10,000 that I had was way more valuable in my pocket than in AMC, because I can use it. I should use it on things that I'm aware about or educated on. Quote, the cost of one's lifestyle will be the single largest determinant of when someone achieves financial freedom. Close quote. Your spending will be the largest barrier between you and financial freedom. Yeah. So this is why part one, frugality and saving, is so important, because if your lifestyle requires $15,000 to sustain itself, that means you need at least $15,000 of income generating assets to become financially free. But that'll just take a lot more time, a lot more saving, and a lot more investing to get there. But if your lifestyle requires $2,000 or $5,000 in monthly expenses, you can achieve that much quicker. And then you can compound after that. You'll just start making tons of extra cash, and then maybe you can expand your lifestyle. That's why frugality early and saving early is so important. Learning not to live below your means, but to live within your means, and maybe, I guess, below your means. That's why I liked Rich Dad, his book, so much, is because he says, what I resonate with is, I don't want to live below my means. I want to live within or above my means and make enough money to support them. But you got to start somewhere. And I agree that the discipline that is required stems from frugality and saving. So learning how to be frugal and saving initially is critical. But the point is, the more expensive your lifestyle, the longer it'll take to achieve financial freedom. The less expensive it is, the quicker you can achieve it. That's chapter 8. Chapter 9. There's 13 chapters that I have notes from, and I'm basically done. Let me get some water. My mouth is so dry. Okay. Again, this part 3 is what to do with the $100,000 that you save. Chapter 9, an intro to investing for financial freedom. So at the beginning, he shares 7 core tenets of investing. The first, never spend the principal. The $10,000 that I put in Amazon stock is never mine again. It's never mine again. Never spend the principal. Never cash out and then spend it. That $10,000 that I invested will remain invested for the rest of its life. 2, reinvest most of investment returns. Any money that I made off of AMC stock, most should be reinvested. 3, to invest, one must have capital. That's the saving. 4, effort correlates with return only if you are in control of the investment. Effort correlates with return only if you are in control of the investment. And what's an example of investments you're in control of? It's a good question. Stocks, you're not really in control of stocks, but you can be in control of real estate, your homes. Yeah, this is the section where he talks about don't invest in single stocks. Effort can improve the results of your investment if you have control over the investment. For example, if you own a piece of real estate and fix it up for yourself, you might find yourself earning $50 to $100 or $250 an hour through your labor. If you earn less than that of your day job, then your efforts are indeed proving outsized returns for you. Okay, that's number 4. Number 5, investment returns are impacted by knowledge. Yep, knowledge. Don't invest in shit you don't know about. Do not confuse volatility with risk. That's where he talks about his definition of risk. Number 7, the best investments are specific to the investor's personal situation. All right, that's the 7 core tenets. I said it's better to invest and be wrong than to never invest at all. A 10% return is higher than is. Wow, I fucked up the note. I'm trying to improvise. A 10% return is a higher than average return. If you make $10,000 and you put it in your bank, you get like a 0.05% dividend annually. I think it's some ridiculously small number, but that's a return. 0.05% is a return. So if you invest in AMC stock, if I put $10,000 into AMC and I made $1,000, I made a 10% return, which is an outstanding return. But you want to find investments that will continually beat inflation and hold its value or increase in value over time. That's tough to know. And then if you invest in something that's initially increasing in value and then decreases and starts decreasing, you need to be smart enough. You need to be savvy enough to know when to pull out of that investment. Just said that. When you are just getting started, it is better to focus on one asset class than to diversify early. Build up one asset class, then move on to the next. Yeah, it's better. He talks about diversification. It's how it's very important, but not until you figured it out, right? Towards the end of chapter, list of investing opportunities. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So, so consider. He uses an example of someone who makes $1 million a year in their investments, 200,000 in, 250 in real estate, 250 in stocks, 250 in bonds, and whatever, 250 in cash. And if the stock market crashed, and he lost 50% of his value in stocks, this is what diversification is. His stock portfolio would now be worth $125,000, but his overall portfolio is still worth $850. So that's the principle. But it's important to solidify an asset class before you diversify. If you only have $80,000 in net worth, then diversifying is not going to do much for you, because if you have those same 4 real estate, bonds, stocks, and cash, but it was $20,000 each instead of $250, diversifying doesn't make a lot of sense. Focus on an asset class, grow it, and then move on to the next, and then build up equally to diversify. He shares a list of investing opportunities. Here are some examples of other ways that individuals have built wealth and achieved early financial freedom. Invest with options. I don't know shit about options. Option trading, that's whatever. Create or buy a blog. Buy a small business. Those are 2 things that I'm doing. I do, talk about the carpet cleaning, and this is my fucking blog. Write a book. Lend with peer-to-peer lending. Yeah. Be like a financer for your friends, especially if they have are doing something that can make money. Create YouTube videos. Become an angel investor. Rent out a home. He fucked that up. Rent out a home. Yeah, I didn't. His book did. Rent out a home out through Airbnb. Do an Airbnb. Build an app. Build an online course. Gamble. No, this isn't recommended. And become an internet entrepreneur. All right. Those are assets that you can invest in to make money. Chapter 10, investing in the stock market. 2 quick notes that I have here. Picking out stocks individually to invest in as an early investor is a waste of time. Boom, there it is. Index funds are a great way to start. So there we go. I should have taken that 10 grand and put it into an index fund, but I didn't. I'm learning my lesson the hard way. Chapter 11, real estate investing. 5 reasons to invest in real estate. Just like we saw or that we read in his bio, he is a savvy real estate investor. So here's why he suggests investing in real estate. Rental properties help investors build wealth. Oh, this isn't it. That's 3 ways. Yeah, okay, here we go. Reason number 1, rental properties build wealth in multiple ways through income, appreciation, and loan amortization. Reason 2, rental properties allow the investor control. And Rich Dad Poor Dad in that financial intelligence book talks about having control of your investments. It's very important. Rental properties allow the investor control. Reason 3, rental properties allow the investor to benefit from leverage. Reason 4, real estate investors can trade up. Reason number 5, real estate is manageable while working a full-time job. There you go. That's what I got for real estate. Chapter 12, tracking your progress. He suggests using the app called Mint. Sorry, I got a little indigestion. I believe I bank with America First, and they have a similar function on their website where it just basically categorizes all of your income and your spending, so you could track where your money's coming from and where it's going. I said in this chapter, none of this is easy, but it's how wealthy people become wealthy. Just like going to the gym isn't easy or pleasurable inherently, but it's necessary to be strong and healthy. So saving and investing and being frugal isn't inherently easy or pleasurable. It's not even attractive or desirable, but it's necessary for wealth. It's necessary for wealth. So if you want to be wealthy, if you want to be financially free, it's essential to be frugal, to save, to minimize your fixed expenses, and then invest wisely with the cash that you're saving. Chapter 13, habits and their impact on financial freedom. I got excited about 10 habits. I said, find the list of 10 habits to cut out, and this is what we're going to end on. Cut these 10 habits out of your life. TV and Netflix. Habit number 1, TV and Netflix. Do I need to explain why? Because it takes so much time. Netflix and 99.9% of television programming have absolutely nothing to offer in terms of steering you toward the things you really want in your life. Habit number 2, this one's going to hurt. Sports entertainment. Like, professional, college, and amateur sports are a distraction. You could be doing something better with that time in almost every situation. This isn't to say that you should cut sports out of your life entirely, but it does mean that being a rabid fan of the local NFL team or watching every game in the NCAA basketball tournament is costing you big time. Sports entertainment has no place in the day-to-day life of the ambitious early retiree. Habit 3, a luxury residence far from work. Habit number 4, eating out. It's expensive, it's time consuming, and it's unhealthy. Eating out routinely has no place in the day-to-day life of ambitious early retiree. Habit number 5, social media. This book came out before TikTok and how much time and attention TikTok takes from our lives. But social media, cut it out. Music at work. Before I continue, he says, he paints it clearly. These habits will not allow for financial freedom, but they bring for a lot of, like things like music at work or being a sports fan, or eating out. It's about the consistency of the behavior. If you're eating out every day or if you're on social media all day, it's going to distract you and prevent you from getting ahead in life. But the occasional eating out with your friends and family, when it's intentional, the being present on social media with intention is really good, actually. But the point, it's the mindless behavior. How much of all of this comes down to awareness of our behavior and of our attention? If these things should not take precedence over everything else in your life. So habit number 6 is music at work. It's distracting. Habit number 7, nightlife. Every now and then, no problem, no biggie. I actually remember a TikTok now, not a TikTok, Instagram reel from Ryan Holiday, who's the creator of The Daily Stoic. We've read his books. He was running around Las Vegas, and he said it's fun and entertaining to go out at night at Vegas, right? But he says he was running early in the morning, and he saw a bunch of people paying for the cost to have fun. And he says it's in moderation, it's great. And with intention, it's great. But doing it mindlessly or to numb your the pains in your life or whatever it is, not good for you. So nightlife, every now and then, sure. But going out every weekend will destroy you. Habit number 8, to cut out shopping. Number 9, the snooze button. Every day since I finished this book, every time my alarm goes off, I hear him say, You're way better off just getting out of bed than trying to get 5 extra minutes of sleep. You're way better off. Get out of bed. The snooze button. Cut it out. Habit number 10, the final one, the I want to try to do everything mentality. All right. That's it. Conclusion. It takes discipline to earn that $25,000, that first $25,000. Hustle to earn the next $100,000, and intelligence to become financially independent. I love it. I loved this book. I really did. I enjoyed all of it. And it seems so practical. Anybody that wants financial freedom can go get it. They can apply these principles: frugality, saving, hustle, and then intelligent investing to become financially free. It doesn't come easy or overnight. It takes time and discipline and some compromise. You give up I'd give up the comfort of this house for financial freedom in the future. And if financial freedom in the future is more important or the most important, if financial freedom is more important than comfort, then I'd give up the comfort today for the financial freedom. Would I? But it's hard. It's hard to give up the comforts right now. It's hard to give up a house that I love, that I put a lot of work and energy and time into for my future. This isn't my dream house by any stretch of the imagination, but it's way comfortable. It's really comfortable. And I love being here and hanging out here and working here, having friends over. It's really comfortable. It's really expensive too. So am I willing to give up the comforts to solve the expensive problem? Or am I willing to front the expensive cost for the comfort and sacrifice future financial freedom in the process? Are you willing to do that? This week, as you go throughout your week, consider, do you really want financial freedom? Do you want it? If you don't want it, I don't know why you listen to this whole fucking podcast. Maybe because you love me and I appreciate you. But if you don't want financial freedom, then there's nothing to apply. Keep working your job. Keep paying your bills. But if you want financial freedom, develop frugality and saving, hustle and sacrifice and compromise for the comfortable things now for future financial freedom. Because in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, if my goal is financial freedom in 10 years, but I don't get it for 20 years, I'm 45 when I'm financially free. In 20 years, 46. Which is way better than maybe getting a retirement plan when I'm 65. Maybe. You know? I would much rather sacrifice now to earn financial freedom earlier than the standard or the average or the normal pursuit, which is retirement plan at 65. That's what I want. What do you want? If you want to listen to the shorter version of this podcast, go check out Here's the Point with Kate and Kelly. I'm going to do the whole thing over again right after this for 15 minutes. I'm going to post it on Instagram and Spotify and Apple Podcasts and do all that. If you're listening to that or this, you can come live. You can join me live next week for my next week's book, which is Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty. I'll be reading this. I've already started this book. I'll be finishing it this week. I'll be doing it next week. I actually might not be live. I might need to do a pre-recorded episode for next week, but still, I'll be covering this one next week. And you can find that on my blog, kateandkellysblog.wordpress.com, and access to all of my other shit, my writing, and my TikToks, my Instagram, and all of that. So I appreciate you for showing up. Hey B Moon in the chat, Ziggy Joe 5 in the chat. Some of my best buds. I appreciate you. Happy holidays. Enjoy your week. Next week is August. The months just keep coming and going, don't they? August 1st is next Monday. So let's get to it. Kick some ass this week. Do what you got to do. And we'll get to it next week. We'll talk to you then. See ya.
They